All right, welcome everyone to the Valentine's Day edition of the Victoria Advocate News Meeting. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm editor and publisher Chris Cobbler. With me as always to my left.
I'm Becky Cooper, managing editor.
And to my right.
Blah, 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 Valentine's. City editor Tony Blandron.
And behind the camera.
Thomas Martinez, digital editor.
So let Thomas and us know what you think of the stories we're working on, any suggestions you have for stories we should be working on. That's where we come on every weekday to hear from you, our legions of viewers. I'll wait for everybody to get signed on and comment. I'll ask a trivia question.
Nicole made
Good for you, Tony. Who earned the first star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? The Walk of Fame. Who do you think?
Well, I
John
had,
Wayne.
huh?
John Wayne.
No.
Greta Garbo.
I don't know what
Claudia,
year they started.
Sadie, Janine already joined us in, so chat away. Chat away. I don't know what year the Hollywood Walk of Fame started either.
It was old Hollywood.
Yeah, I was going to guess. I would guess.
Janine says Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Greta Garbo.
Already
No,
said
even
Garbo.
earlier
said
than
no?
that. Lillian Gish or
Lillian Gish, you're going way
or
back.
D.W. Griffith.
Wow.
These are the pioneers of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Who was the other one? Douglas Fairbanks.
Greta Garbo.
Douglas Fairbanks was at
Douglas.
that time. I forget the.
Al Jolson.
I'm
Well,
just not as old as you. I don't remember these things.
Yeah,
No,
he's going back to the 20s.
You know, I studied media history in high school.
Oh,
you
high
know,
school.
you could do this.
High school. That sounds
Could've
like
done this
a
then.
blow-off class in high school.
No, it wasn't.
All
Trust
right,
me.
all right.
It was taught by
Janine says Mae
a
West.
real.
Mae
I
West.
studied baseball
and
in
she
high
just says
school.
awesome
Come on.
Port Authority article, by the way. Thank you, Janine.
Good story.
Jessica did a very nice job on that story. I was personally flabbergasted
Yeah.
that they spent $360,000 already. I mean, that's crazy to fight just open government. That's what they're just. I want to let that sink in. That's what they're doing. Spending $360,000 of the public's money to fight the public's ability to know what's going on and be informed in advance of their meetings. That's what they're fighting.
And they got the logistics too. We asked for this figure
Yeah.
on paper. Then
Yeah.
they go to the AG
For an opinion.
to oppose the request, and yet they say it in a public meeting.
Well, I
Because
think
the
I
board
think a
member
board
asked.
member was probably trying to make his point that it should be out there. Actually, I don't know that, but I think that's why he brought it up because he knew we'd asked for it. That's my thought. But
So there's you can get some sense of the logic there.
sounds like someone's slush fund. Janine says, "Well, they're certainly if they got $360,000 to burn, it makes you wonder why they're not spending it on port work, fixing those jetties, doing a lot of other things you can do in port." Because it is a public asset that shouldn't be used for private gain.
Does they ever get audited? I wonder if we should ask for any audit
By
reports.
law, they're supposed to be
Yeah, they
audited
have to
every
be
year.
audited. Yeah, yeah.
Never know. Could be in
Well, you
drainage
find out.
district number 3.
Depends what kind of audit is done, though. Some of those are pretty superficial, I'd have to say. But it's worth looking at. Janine Williams says the answer. How do you know that, Janine? I want to know. Did you Google that? Did you Google
She got
that?
it right?
I don't know. Does she?
Joanne Woodward, she says. It's her guess.
You know, former wife of Paul Newman. Did they
Yeah.
stay married all those years?
Yes, they did.
Long time.
Yes.
And
Has she passed away?
No, she's still around.
Is she still around?
Janine wants to ask why do multiple members have to go on all these trips? She's referring to another investigation Jessica Priest did on their trips. $19,000 spent to go to Chile,
Yeah.
and she did Google it. All right, Janine. So we'll.
That's
You're right.
interesting.
The answer is
Joanne Woodward.
Joanne Woodward, who won an Academy Award for The Three Faces of Eve in 1957. So the Hollywood Walk of Fame didn't really start until.
Oh, I thought it was older
57.
than that.
See, I wasn't far off with my John Wayne guess.
You were more in the time frame, right?
50s. You know, she and Paul Newman made a movie in Kansas City, and they filmed a scene at the Savoy Grill.
Yeah,
Remember that restaurant? Highbrow restaurant.
I didn't eat there.
Yeah. And you can go in there and request their table. You can also go in there and request Harry Truman's favorite booth.
And
He
you
had
would
a
pay the
favorite booth.
prices that
No,
they would?
no. But it has a plaque that says this was Harry Truman's favorite booth at the
Huh.
Savoy Grill.
I want to get a plaque over at the Taqueria La Frontera. That's what I want, a little plaque there. Alright.
Or no, they should have a plaque over there at Beijing Garden.
Oh, Beijing Garden in the corner?
corner seat.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Chris Cobbler Memorial seat,
Yeah.
except for not memorial.
The mafioso
Get there-
view.
get
You
there
can see
soon.
everybody coming in the restaurant.
Did any one of our silent film stars get a star posthumously? I don't know, but I imagine they did, because there's a lot of stars there now, and they've been
Yeah.
busy giving out stars like candy.
Don't they have to pay for it now?
Do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, 30,000. I think they pay. They get invited to pay $30,000. That's the last figure I
I'd
heard.
have to
Yeah, that's
decline
what I
that
paid.
invitation, I guess. I got it.
You have to get
You're
an
invited to pay
invitation.
$30,000 for your.
$30,000. Then
Wrote
you
a
pay
check
30,000.
Last year.
Well, I bet did it bounce? Maybe it bounced. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
No,
those
live in
silent
infamy,
film stars
buddy.
like Lillian Gish and Douglas Fairbanks and D.W. Griffith, and there was a fourth one who started United Artists
Yeah.
because they were fed up with the studio system and they decided to create their own movie company.
Well, in news, we have Valentine's Day, sort of news. So if anybody's out there doing some cute Valentine's Day thing, you can still call the newsroom and let us know. Evan's out shooting Valentine's Day photos this afternoon, so call 574-1222 if you know something particularly cute. I had a reader submit a cute photo of their daughters.
Yeah, that's
Their daughters was cute, so you can also submit a photo online at victoriaadvocate.com/add photo. Does that work to get to it, Tom?
Yep.
So if you just go to victoriaadvocate.com/add photo, you'll see a form pop up where you can just put your photo right in there from your phone, and you got this cute Valentine's Day photo. I should actually mention that more often in our news meetings.
Have to have an account. Be signed in.
To submit a photo, you gotta be signed in to do it?
Yep.
Okay, well, you all should be, if you're watching, I'm sure you have an account and are signed in anyway, because you're highly motivated readers.
Don't have to be a subscriber. Just have an account.
Count and sign up, okay, let's submit it.
Other people.
What else we got here? Janine, we're getting that, she said there's 5 wrecks near Formosa, I think we said 3.
We knew of 3.
3,
We had 2 confirmed, heard of 3, but
yeah,
no 5.
that's what she said, but we do have a story posted about wrecks at Formosa at victoriaadvocate.com, and we're updating that story. Mary Cantu says happy Valentine's Day. Janine was wondering if they were the only plant where you could drive personal vehicles inside Formosa. Huh? I think you can drive your vehicles to other plants. I mean, there's obviously a ton of parking around Formosa because there's so much construction and so many workers there right now, and I think that's the issue. There's so many workers coming at one time.
You would think, and I'm not a plant person, I'm not a logistics person, but you would think that they would stagger the starting shifts for the plant workers versus the construction workers.
I think they do. I mean, I think they try to the best of their ability, but there's also basic shifts where the main workers come. I don't know. That's a good question for them, but
For most of the workers, I think work a 12-hour shift.
yeah, I know they've also Formosa basically paying for that interchange to try to get traffic in and out easier, but I don't know why if people were driving recklessly in a hurry in traffic and.
It wasn't
Very-
foggy this morning or
Yeah.
rainy. So
Yeah. What time was that wreck that we reported on? I haven't read that story.
5 something this morning
Yeah,
and
so-
6 something the next one.
Mm.
So.
Yeah. So we have that Formosa story. Thank you, Janine, and Aaron just joined us. How you doing, Aaron? We have a story about Caymans donating a recliner to the Calhoun County deputy who was struck by a truck last week. There's another Formosa accident. Actually, we should refer to.
Yeah, I told Amber to refer to the stories.
Well, the desk needs to know. Refer to. I mentioned it. Yes, refer to Formosa story inside, and she needs to. Yeah. Okay. And John's working a story about a man charged in Yoakum with a shooting and his death. So John will have that story. Do we have a mug of him, a jail mug?
I had this gel mug of him in his hospital gown
Okay. All right.
because they took his clothes for evidence.
Okay. Yeah, Janine says one has nothing to do with the other. They're staggering. There's just so many. Oh, yeah. Okay. And Janine says glad the Calhoun County deputy's better. Yeah, that was scary.
Amber said he had got a concussion. He just had 3 areas on his head where he had stitches and had no other broken bones or anything. He was really lucky.
Yeah.
The Catherine's working on a story about a plan for a Texan gas station to come to Goliad.
Yeah,
and where that
the
stands.
council approved the reinvestment zone to offer the abatement for, the Texan. So we got to talk to Texan people and the Economic Development Group.
Janine says the wind is really bad right now. Did you notice that coming in, Becky? Well, you came in earlier, but
But it was windy this morning when I went. I
she
came.
said she just came from El Campo and had to dodge a fence post and a 5-gallon paint can.
Wow.
It doesn't look that windy out our window right this second.
Yeah, there's
It was windy
wind.
this
There's
morning.
wind. Huh.
Well, there's a lot of structures too
Yeah, downtown.
to block it.
What murder are we talking about, Chris? Well, this was not a
There
murder.
was a shooting.
Shooting in a bar in January in Yoakum, and the man who's accused of that died. So that's,
Yeah, apparently there was a shooting. Some people at the bar jumped on the man who did the shooting, held him down, and I'm told beat him up pretty badly and held him down until cops could get there. They took him to the hospital to get checked out. Then they took him onto the jail. And at some point in the jail, he got sick and had to go to Austin Hospital.
I was reacting to Jane's comment about people not tying their crap down, which you should do on a windy day.
Yes, you should.
We'll have a note in about USA Today. Those careful readers would notice we had a State Nation page from AP and Texas Tribune, but not a USA Today page. We will have USA Today for a couple more weeks yet, but we're going to put a note in to let people know that USA Today is ending this service of providing pages to newspaper across the company. So we're adjusting and making plans to provide that information through AP and Texas Tribune. So you'll still get your state, national, and world news, markets news from us, but in a different form, basically. And of course, our focus, as always, will remain on local news that you can't get anywhere else. That's what our bread and butter is. And our philosophy is to try to give people enough news from elsewhere to satisfy their one-stop shop reading habits, but our focus is on local news. We have some more regional roundups, speaking of local news, in the paper tomorrow. We're continuing our contest on first haircuts, which everybody should enter. Again, go to victoriaadvocate.com/add photo and just submit your kid's first haircut. Be a cute contest. Janine is a hospice nurse, interesting, and she dodged a flying refrigerator 2 years ago on 35, brand new.
Damn.
Wow, a flying refrigerator.
That's some strong wind.
That is some, that sounds like it fell out of a,
Or that came off of somebody's car or something.
yeah, that would not be good.
Or a truck or whatever.
Yeah, that's scary, something coming at you on the highway like that that you're not prepared for. That'd be very scary. Then we got Advance on, which livestock show is this Advance, Callie?
This is the
Callie.
livestock show parade for Victoria.
Oh, the parade, okay. So we got a If You Go breakout?
If you go, we should have the parade route map.
Okay. Yep, the parade is Saturday. Parade route map. There we go.
So you can get 2 parades within 2 hours of each other Saturday. You can go to the Black History Month parade at 9:30. When it's over with on North Street, you can make your way to downtown and go to the Victoria Livestock Show parade at 11 o'clock.
Janine suggests a state story about Sylvester Turner fighting with Abbott over the rainy day fund. We'll get to state news in just a minute, but thanks, Janine. And in our home and garden section, the gardener's dirt. Meredith has a really nice package on citrus trees, I think.
Cool.
So she done nice photos, good package. Sounded good. We've got our Prime Timers 2-page package. It's not really a double truck. I want people to use the right 2 facing pages. 2 back-to-back pages. That's what it is. 6 and 7. No, 2 facing pages. Okay. I do it. Well, it's not a double truck. A double truck, just for those who want to know newspaper lingo, is the main section inside in which those 2 pages are connected. That's a double truck. 2 facing pages, some people say they'll call it 2 facing pages or not a true double truck because it is a double truck, but they're not connected.
But
What?
the double on a 2
6 and
facing
7,
pages,
2
there's a
facing
gutter.
you can pull them apart.
Okay, now solve this 30-year mystery for me. Why is it called a double truck? I know the double part, but
Yeah.
why a truck?
That's a good question, but then, it's a press term, I'm sure of that,
Oh.
it has to do with how the press is set up.
Long time ago, before there were mechanical presses, when they were still building everything by hand, these press plates were so heavy that when they built the two together like that, they had to bring two wagons in to carry in all the lead for the printing.
You're making it
I
up.
am not. And then that made it a double
Was
truck.
that the year you started?
Uh-huh.
Alright.
I did not go there. He did.
No, I can tell you were thinking it.
I was thinking it.
He just beat you to it.
I was thinking it.
Look it up.
Are you serious?
Look it up.
I never heard this. Well, that's why I said it.
I haven't
I've never
either.
heard.
I don't-
Now, is it spelled like Truck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it? Okay.
yeah. Alright,
I never thought to ask that, but every time I heard the phrase, I'm like, double truck, okay. Because somebody asked me that a long time ago. Why do they call it? I don't know.
you got to Google that, Becky, I believe you, I don't.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
sure, you don't believe me either.
I'll Google it later. And,
And then you'll have to come out and admit that you were wrong.
JR said he was gonna add the budget.
alright, good, then, sports, I got a story about, pole vaulting in Woodsboro, they got quite the pole vaulting program going on there. I guess this athlete's name is Bella Coschetti, sounds like a nice Italian name, Bella.
It must be one of the hardest events to do because you have to be perfect where that stick goes, your
I
body
think
weight.
it's gotta be one of the hardest ones to learn too, man, you gotta take a leap of faith, literally, just
Yeah.
to get going on that sport, cause you're throwing this stick down and going, okay, here I go. I can't even imagine starting doing that, getting over the first hurdle, so to speak, we use more track terms, but to even, and then I agree with you, once then to get good at it, and I guess once you do it all the time and you know how it works, you're not every time thinking you're gonna kill yourself, but that first few times I think I'm gonna kill myself.
You also have to have extreme trust in your pole
Yeah,
because that could snap at any time and
Yeah.
literally drop you on your head. And
right,
phew,
yeah,
it's pretty graceful when you see the good, like the athlete, like
Right.
the Olympic, really good ones do it. It's really
it's amazing, it is quite a sport, honestly. Be a good one, I hope we'd shot a little video with that, actually, just see him do it. Then,
The name double truck comes from the days when the heavy forms of newspaper pages, the metal version of each page, largely filled with lead type, were rolled around the composing room floor on heavy carts called trucks.
Oh,
2 pages for one project meant a double truck.
okay. I thought you meant that they were brought in on, the lead was brought in on a wagon.
No.
Or a big truck.
No, that it was to
Yeah,
carry
the
the
little
pages.
ones, yeah. I
with
mean, they
all
had
the-
them here, the little trucks on the, didn't they, on the little groups on the
Janie just
Whatever.
joined us, hi Janie.
pavement floor?
Janine had a question
the
about,
train thing.
Yeah.
Janine's got a question jumping in here about policy on obits. I don't know what's talking about. She says there's several comments on Facebook pages about different arguments. I haven't seen that lately, so I've answered that question in the past from people on Facebook, but people on one particular page ban like multiple advocate people from being on there, which is always bizarre to me that they wouldn't want us to respond or comment if they have questions, but there's a particular page that doesn't want that, which is fine, actually. It's made extra
Very
time in
nice.
my day. I don't have to worry about it. But I do encourage Jenny, I appreciate you saying anybody who's got a specific question to call me. That's always nice, or message me. We do, for obituaries, provide a free basic listing for everybody, but most people want more, and they'll work with the funeral homes to pay for more. And the pricing is what people debate and argue about, whether the pricing's reasonable or not. But the funeral homes work that out, and most times that's very smooth. It just happens smoothly. Some people have a particular issue where they can't afford it or need to discuss it, then I'd encourage them to call us, and we'll try to work it out with them somehow, because we do want all those notices and obituaries to be in the paper. In the old days, most newspapers used to provide that for free. It's been many, many years that most papers have charged something for them, and I think our rates are definitely comparable to other papers, but yeah, I used to write obituaries when I was a young reporter, and we had them like news stories and did them very specific way, with it including cause of death on every news story, and didn't write them
Very formula.
very formal, not necessarily the way the families wanted them. And that the argument for having them paid is it is exactly how the families want them now, and I think that's good. The argument against that is maybe not as much genealogical information for sure in them that they had when I was a young reporter writing them, and would put cause of death on every obit, which made some families very mad, but that's what we did as a news story. So anyway, but the argument, Janine, I assume what your question is about is the pricing, and that's, I would just encourage people if they want to discuss that to give us a call so we can talk about it.
In the pricing, it's, even if you pay for an obit, the first however many inches is free,
Yeah.
and that includes the photo and the headline, name headline.
Yeah.
And after you get past that so many inches, then that's when the charge kicks in.
Right, and the funeral homes, yes, her question is, so they originate from the funeral homes, yes, I mean, that's almost how they're all handled, the funeral homes, run them by the families, get them reviewed, and then they submit them to us, and we, check them too, and put them on the page.
And then once we get them formulated for our page,
Yeah,
we send them a proof back to the funeral home so they can take a look
yeah,
at it.
so make sure it's how they wanted it, doesn't mean it's 100% accurate, but it's as close as we can get to it, and the families have seen it before it publishes,
Right.
so if there's something wrong, they missed it along with us, whatever that is. Yeah, so does that answer your question, Gina? Oh, they're discussing errors in them. Okay, I guess I
That's
did
what
just
funeral.
address your question, that the funeral home puts it together, the families and the funeral homes check it. We check it, but we don't know necessarily if they spell, sister's name wrong. We won't necessarily know that, but we'd think the family would.
I would
know
hope
that.
we catch any grammatical
Yeah,
errors or anything like
yeah,
that,
that's
though.
what we're checking for. I'd hope that. So if there are, I'd say too, if you see an error in the obit, complaining about it on Facebook because it's not really that productive, you can give us a call and we'll check back with the family and with the funeral home. And if it's an error on our end, if it's something that we do, we'll reprint it, work with the funeral home to do that. We'll work with them even if it's not an error on our end. I mean, we want to make it right.
Yeah, we want to correct it online. And,
Right, yeah. So let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
The families give the
People
spellings
put-
or whatever, they're
Yeah.
survivors, but they're so emotional at that time because
Yeah.
of the death, and
Yeah.
People
they're
clip
not
them,
always
people
catching
forever.
simple
Yeah.
This is
errors.
my grandmother's.
Oh, there it is.
This
You
is
got
my
it on your phone.
grandmother's obituary from
Yeah.
late 70s.
And you carry it with you every day.
Well, no, my sister had the actual paper,
Okay.
and I wanted a copy because they
But-
got married in Texas.
But Janine says excellent answer, so thanks. I hope you can let people know that, and if we have something wrong in an obituary, we want to get it right. But that's our process, and I think it's a pretty good process.
Yeah, and we don't know to correct it unless someone tells us. So.
Right. But I'm fairly certain the family working with the funeral home is telling us about it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that they. At least I've never heard them hold back. I mean, because the family obviously is very motivated in getting it right, and the funeral home is representing the family.
And they want it
Yeah,
right too.
They want it right. So, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Janine. Good question. I appreciate you asking it too, rather than letting it be discussed somewhere else without our response.
If you have one you're asking about specifically
Yeah.
now, let us know.
Yeah, message that to us or whatever, so we can check. I'll check with Tony downstairs who handles that. A reporter did attempt to make it right on the thread. Okay. Thank you, Janine. Also in sports, we got a wrestling coverage. Regional wrestling's coming up. We got advance on West girls basketball, swimming advance coming up. UHV baseball, I think, is today. A&M International. Not sure, but
Okay.
lots of sports going on. In state news, we got a South Texas judge who determined a former nurse who prosecutors suspect of causing the deaths of as many as 60 children
Oh yeah.
is competent to stand trial.
Good.
That's a crazy case.
She's been in prison for a long time.
Horrific story. A Dallas area man is heading to prison after police found him in the woods with a partially 3D printed AR-15 and a list of federal lawmakers' addresses in his backpack.
Ah,
Wow.
that's scary.
And let's see, just jumping down, if anything else that stands out. Let's jump what's out there. I know Texas Tribune had a couple interesting stories jumping back up that I thought were worth mentioning.
Teachers in Colorado went on strike.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Why that's, I
strike
don't know
a
why
week.
that's on the Texas budget, but anyway, there
This is a
were
national thing.
there were 19 in 2012. There were 19 Republican women in the Texas House. Now there are 6. That's interesting. That's the Texas Tribune story about what's changed. This is a story that's been out there, but interesting that Texas A&M is asking lawmakers for $55 million in equity funds, citing UT's budget, saying UT somehow is getting more funding. I know our UHV president was testifying before the ledge the other day about UHV's budget request, which we should catch up to sometime soon. We're talking to UT about trying to have some student cover some of those Austin hearings, but it's proving to be tricky to logistically work out. I had a phone call today about that, but we'll pick up on it. Anything else big on the nation world scene to talk about? I haven't heard. Has President Trump said anything today about?
No, but
The
the
shutdown?
insiders say he's gonna sign it, but he's still, vocalizing that he is not happy with the deal.
He's taking less money.
Yeah, he's gonna
He's
take
out.
one
He's not getting
point
his
three,
concrete.
is it 1.37 or 1.73? I don't know.
I don't know.
Billion, and not all of it can be used for what's known as a wall, but I don't know, the commentators, on some of the news networks said that the insiders from the White House say he's gonna sign it.
All right. Anything else on the? You heard on the news today or seen?
No.
I haven't seen anything else. Okay. Well, it was a good discussion, Janine. I appreciate it. And if I missed any comments as they're coming in, which I certainly could have, I'll go back after the meeting and try to respond to anybody else. But I appreciate the good discussion. And if you want to actually talk to us the old-fashioned way, you can pick up the phone or stop by. But pick up the phone and call us at 574-1222. Peace out.